Hi, I am Elijah Armstrong. I am a lighter skinned black male with short dreadlocks. I am against a green background, and I'm wearing a dark blue hoodie that says Happy Valley. And I am happy to be one of AAPD's Paul G. Hearn Emerging Leader Award winners in 2021. And for my Hearn project, I partnered with AAPD and the Coelho Center for Disability Law, Policy, and Innovation, and my own organization, Equal Opportunities for Students, to create the Heumann-Armstrong Award, which is an educational award for students in the 6th grade and up who have experienced ableism in education and fought against ableism in education. Each of our 6 winners got a $1,000 award, and each one of the winners also has having a video about them made by us. And this is one of those videos. So we are proud to introduce one of the Heumann-Armstrong Award winners for the year 2021, Otto Lana.
On screen are the logos for all 3 organizations, AAPD, the Coelho Center, and Equal Opportunities for Students. On screen now is the logo for the Heumann-Armstrong Award and white text on a gray background that reads, "Present Heumann-Armstrong Award winner Otto Lana, illustrated by Access Gallery."
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I would say personally, but we are virtual, so still thank you for your time, real or virtual. My name is Otto Lana. My pronouns are he and him. I am a young adult man with short brown hair stylishly gelled back. I have a freckled face and tanned skin of a sun-kissed beach bum living in sunny Southern California. I have dreamy blue eyes, an infectious laugh and a radiant smile. I am wearing a black t-shirt with colorful letters that read, "Everyone belongs here." Yes, this is a shameless plug for my company, Oddos Mottos. I am in my living room in San Diego. In the background you may be able to see a painting of a surfer and maybe a surfboard hanging on the wall. I live in the coastal community of San Diego, La Jolla.
A photo of Otto Lana. He's smiling and looking away from the camera, holding his ear with his left hand.
I was born here and have never lived anywhere else. I am a junior at Fusion Academy, here in San Diego.
An illustration of Otto Lana in the same position.
I have autism and Apraxia. The combination of these prevent me from speaking words with my mouth. That is why I type to communicate. I am a multimodality communicator. I use high-tech technology, such as a computer or iPad, a Bluetooth keyboard, a Bluetooth speaker, and a text-to-talk app in formal settings. I use a waterproof letterboard, the one I designed, when I am on the go, or for every day.
An illustration of Otto using his iPad.
In school I use a number board, a whiteboard, a choice board, whatever gets my point across, and gets the job done. I use some sign language, and for those that know me well, my mannerisms and my facial expressions speak volumes.
An illustration of communication tools. A number board, a letter board, a choice board, and a whiteboard.
I have always had an appropriate yes and no nod. But yes or no questions are hard for the average person to think up. I cannot tell you how many times someone thought they were asking a yes or no question that was really a question asking for a preferred choice. Typing to communicate is a slow and arduous process that takes a great deal of time. It takes a great deal of effort to organize the thoughts in my head and the muscles of my body to type. If I am excited or anxious, it takes even more time to type. There is an emotional component to Apraxia that few people understand. Apraxia is a movement disorder that prevents my body from moving how I want. When I am dysregulated, my control over my body movements is much worse. With this dysregulated body, I need a support to type. I need a support with many things.
caricatures of fear, sadness, joy, disgust, and anger.
My hands have as much control as a typical person does with their feet. Try to type with your feet. Try to eat with your feet. Try to open a jar of pickles with your feet. Now try to do those tasks with your shoes on. Talk about typing a mile in someone else's shoes. Ha 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 ha.
An illustration of someone trying to open a jar of pickles with their feet.
School is a can of worms. When I was in an inclusive classroom with an aide, I was given no accommodations and had no AAC device, so I got yelled at all the time and was sent outside to sit on a bench until I could collate myself with my aide.
An illustration of Otto sitting alone on a bench, holding his iPad.
When I was in a special day class, because I was diagnosed with an intellectual disability, I did nothing all day. I take that back. We made pudding, popped popcorn, and glued a lot of glitter.
An illustration of Otto Lana covered in glitter making pudding.
When I was in a non-public school, I had no aide or communication partner because they did not believe in aides. They believed in independence. Refer back to opening pickle jars with your feet in shoes. Not much got done during the day, but they had an amazing open water swim program for PE. I was on a diploma track by then, and the school district psychologist apologized for the whole misdiagnosis of intellectual disability. My current school has a fantastic virtual school program, and I am crushing it. The workload is intense. I have accommodations such as extended time, but there is no modification of the curriculum. I am doing the same academics as everyone else. School. I love school. I love to learn a challenging curriculum. I love to meet people. I love to amaze people.
An illustration of Otto using his computer for virtual class.
I love to hike mountain trails and swim in the ocean. I love to travel and eat steak. I have friends that are typical, but my best friends have autism. There is common ground and an understanding of how to live with AAC. My friends are amazing. They are like me, they type to communicate too. Another passion is presenting at conferences as a self-advocate. I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy the irony of public speaking as a non-speaking person. As for my teachers, once they get over my intellect and the cognitive dissonance of a non-speaking autistic in honors courses, we are good to go.
An illustration of Otto standing on a stage holding a microphone.
They are wonderful people that give me all the time I need to share my thoughts and ask questions. Fusion Academy is a high school with an individualized curriculum for all types of academic students. I chose the virtual path. During the pandemic, that was all there was. It works for me, so I have stuck with it. Ableism. Before the pandemic, the greatest barrier at school was access to my AAC devices and adequately trained support staff. Without those two things, my access to education is limited at best and non-existent at worst. Now that I learn from home, all the technology and support I need is always available. Ableism manifests itself in a lack of understanding Apraxia and the preconceived belief non-speaking people lack verbal skills. I need different levels of support for different activities and different levels of regulation. But I always need some support. Communication happens everywhere. When my communication partner took her lunch break at the same time as my lunch break, I was left with no way to communicate at lunch. Think about that. This is when all the social communication happens, and I had no way to participate.
An illustration of Otto sitting alone at lunch.
There are so many examples of devices not working, so no one thought to come up with an alternative. I challenged my class once to try to attend one day without speaking a word. and just figure it out, like I do every day. My history teacher thought it was a great idea, and he took a vow of silence that day too. Most students were in tears by the end of the day.
An illustration of Otto's class taking a vow of silence.
Well, of course, there is the OG Judy Heumann as a hero. I read Being Human and watched Crip Camp, and had the honor to see her both through Crip Camp, the virtual experience, and through the Youth Leadership Forum through the Department of Rehab. And now there is Elijah Armstrong and your baller moved to sue your school to change out flickering fluorescent lights. Beautiful. Before I knew about you two, my heroes were Tim Jin and Hari Shriner Wazan. These two guys are living amazing lives with AAC and appropriate support.
An illustration of Otto Lana, Hari Srinivasan, and Tim Jin together.
Darlene Hanson, SLP, is my mentor. She taught me to type and gave me a chance at a great life. My life is a moonshot now. There is still work to do. Until inclusion is a word we do not need to discuss and interdependence is a valid option, we with disabilities will be seen as inadequate, less than, something broken to be fixed. I came into this movement by realizing that people do care and that speaking up can affect change. My work so far has been through my presence as a self-advocate explaining the need for access to communication for everyone. Communication is a basic human right. We are social beings and communication is vital. Without communication, we cease to exist. This is no joke. How can an individual be part of anything without a voice? I want to see a future where my voice is as important as anyone else's. Information and inspiration is my brand. I think it is a lack of information and a failure to communicate. Haha, cool hand Luke reference is what is the cause of some ableism. I also love Liam Neeson's quote from Taken. What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Typing is a skill that takes practice. Communication is a powerful tool. I intend to use my voice for change. Otto's Mottos was born out of the pandemic and the need I saw for a waterproof letterboards available to the masses. My access to apparel and my eye for design was organic. I use the money I make from my apparel sales to make letterboards and give them away to families who cannot afford them.
An illustration of a letterboard.
I also donate to organizations that support access to communication. I use Instagram to share my positivity, promote my brand, and show the world I'm having a good time, living my best life. What the future holds. 2 words, presumed competence. I lost so many years because I was diagnosed with an intellectual disability and made to feel like a non-person. Everyone needs access to communication and support for that communication system. It is not enough to give a student an iPad. The student needs support for the technology. The family needs support for the technology. Communication is a necessity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. During the pandemic, students were sent home without access to their AAC devices or their support. It is not uncommon for students to not have access to AAC during summer breaks as well. I am fortunate. My family has learned how to support me, but that is not always the case.
An illustration of a letterboard locked in a glass box that reads "Keep Out" in orange lettering.
I want to tell students, be kind, have faith, be strong. And remember, we truly are in this together. Eventually we will all be disabled. If we are lucky enough to live long enough, we will all have a disability. What does this award mean to me? Street cred, baby. My message will mean so much more now that I have been recognized by folks like you. I am proud and humbled by this award. Again, I can't thank you enough.
An illustration of Otto holding a trophy.
I just want people to know impossible is possible. I am not a unicorn. I am a regular person who needs support. I want to change the narrative around support. I don't want support to be considered a charitable gift to the pitiful. I want access to communication and support to seem as natural as access to oxygen. I was suffocating in the silence before typing.
Thank you to Otto for sharing your story with us. Please use the hashtag Heumann-Armstrong if you're looking to join in this discussion on social media. In the description, you'll be able to find links to Otto, his social media, and the ways that you can support him. You'll also find the links to the websites for the Coelho Center, AAPD, and Equal Opportunities for Students, where you can see more about the work that we do and support the other winners of the Heumann-Armstrong Award. We have 5 other winners of the Heumann-Armstrong Award this year, so please stay tuned to learn more about them.